Come to the river, wade in the water, go on under. Come to the river.
Welcome to Down to the River with Pastor Adam from Oglesby Union Church. Down to the River is a fast 5 minutes to drink in some of the living water given to us by Jesus through studying His Word, the Bible. From Oglesby Union Church, here's Pastor Adam.
What is wisdom? Where does wisdom come from? How can I be a wise person? Is wisdom for all? Well, let's see if we can tackle some of these questions this morning on Down to the River. What is wisdom? The short answer is knowledge applied, or knowledge in action. Wisdom is more than knowledge alone. We come to know by seeing or experiencing or reading of. We usually fall into one of two groups: those who learn by doing or seeing, and those who learn by reading and hypothesizing. One group throws away the instructions because they've seen this done, and the other group laminates the instructions for future reference. If you split the actual word knowledge apart, you have know and ledge. I know, however I acquire best, and then I put what I know on a ledge. Maybe a bookshelf if I've read a book, but definitely on a ledge in my mind to recall later. Now, this knowledge has to be applied if it's going to turn into wisdom. So let's look at an example. The sun comes out. It's the hottest part of the day in the middle of July. You are outside and know that you're not going to be under any type of cover of shade like a tree or an umbrella. So what do you know is going to happen? Well, you know that you could get a sunburn. You have read about it, or you've seen it, or you've experienced it. So what do? You apply wisdom. You apply sunscreen. Or maybe you make sure to wear light, long-sleeve shirts and a wide-brimmed hat. You take that knowledge and apply an action, and it turns into wisdom. Someone observing you in that situation would say, that person was thinking ahead. That person made a wise move. Now let's divide out the word wisdom, because I think there's also a dimension of moral decisions that require wisdom. So let's add an E to each side, and we have wise, dome. To be wise is to do what is right in a particular situation. To do what is wrong would be to do something that's foolish. So what is right under this dome? Do you remember the rules of the dome of your childhood home? Do you remember the rules of the dome of your school? Following the rules under those domes was seen as a wise move or exercising wisdom. You had the knowledge of the rules, and you applied the appropriate action for what dome you were under. And the largest dome of our lives is the world that God has created, and He has rules that we are to live by, namely the 10 Commandments encompassed by the 2 greatest commandments given by Jesus to love God and to love others. So I'd like to lengthen my definition of wisdom. I'd like to go from knowledge applied to knowledge godly applied. We could split the word godly to be God and then lie. How does this knowledge lie with God? What does God have to say about this knowledge? Is God good with this knowledge? When we go through God, we apply a definition of what is right and wrong under the dome of His kingdom that we live. So a wise person morally is someone who acquires knowledge and then goes to God for the appropriate value and then applies it or refrains from it. To go against the values that God set up under His dome would be a foolish thing to do. Some universal moral structure is needed under this dome to make wise moves, and confusion comes in when we veer or abandon His input. The Bible gives a picture of this process in 2 Corinthians. We demolish arguments and every proud thing that is raised up against the knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive to obey Christ. We take that knowledge before God captive, and we lay it alongside of what God says, and then proceed. This is what it means to be wise. Knowledge godly applied. My friend, let's be wise today. Ladies, mark your calendars for Saturday, July 21st, and the next Women at Our Best event at 10:30 a.m. Find them on Facebook at Women at Our Best. And join us this morning at 10:15 for another message from God's Word, the Bible. And may you receive the blessings of God as you live your life to the glory of Him.
Join Pastor Adam this morning at Oglesby Union Church. They're right next to City Hall on Walnut Street, and their Sunday morning worship service starts at 10:15. Oglesby Union Church's mission is to know Jesus, grow in Him, go where He leads, and show His love. Drink more of the living water from Jesus today at Oglesby Union Church, and go down to the river again next Sunday morning at 8:25 on Classic Hits 103.9 WLPL.